The God of the universe loves us beyond measure and wants to be our friend. He desires to share with each of us a unique, unbreakable bond. This is First Things First, a devotional podcast where for 365 days, first thing each morning, we are going to be getting to know God better. We're going to be seeking His daily will for our lives and seeing how best we can seek first His kingdom. In short, we'll be putting first things first.
Good morning, and welcome to another devotional. I'm your host, Melissa Sewell, and this is First Things First. This morning, we're going to be discovering a bit more of how we can be generous to others and generous to ourselves. In Deuteronomy chapter 15, verses 10 and 11, God advised his people how he wanted them to give, the spirit of generosity that he wanted them to possess. It says, Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works and in all that thou puttest thine hand on. We should always be willing to give to the needy. And I think this is a popular opinion that giving to those who are in need is something that we should do. But when it comes on to giving to ourselves, there are weaker, poorer parts within us that would largely benefit if we shunted our time and energies to those weaker parts. Character building, our relationship with God, or studies, when we see that a sacrifice is required within ourselves, we should not do it, you know, with hesitancy, but we should be willing to give up our time to make sacrifices to strengthen the weaker parts that are within us. And that is a part of being generous. To quit doing some of the things that we find pleasurable so that we can endure seasons of hardships to strengthen the weaker parts within us. A sacrifice is always required when we are trying to strengthen something, and especially when it comes on to being closer to God. That is a discipline that we should be generous to, that we should give our time or efforts into getting closer to God. And that is my prompt for today, for us to look into our lives and see the weaker parts that we have and be willing to be generous to those weaker parts. So being generous is not only giving to those external, it's not only an external act, but it's something we can do within ourselves. Thank you for tuning in today. Remember, as always, to put first things first. See you tomorrow.